everyone, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Thursday, October 1st, 2020. This is episode 365. If I were to have recorded an episode every day, we would be at 1 year. But alas, we are approaching 10 years. So that's crazy. February will be 10 years of podcasting. But it is episode 365. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back and checking me out one more time. And if you're new, I hope you enjoyed today's episode and you'll come back in the future as well as checking out some of our past episodes. So how has everyone been over the past 2 weeks? The weather is cooling down here in central Illinois. The leaves are starting to fall. Fall is in the air. Our highs this week are in the 50s and 60s. It's kind of nice. If you hear any reminiscent background noise, I doubt you will, but they have been redoing the curbs and things on our street. We live on a main thoroughfare in a small town. It's not Main Street, but it's like the main street. There's Main Street and then there's Center Street, and literally we go through the center of town, through the town square, everything. Anyway, they've decided to redo all the curbs and fronts of the driveways and make everything ADA compliant and things like that, which is great. But they are done with our side, except for our driveway. They have to come back and do the actual driveway, but now they're working on the other side of the street, and they completely ripped out a double side, like half their driveway yesterday. And so they're putting down the new sidewalk and all that, and the cement mixer's right in front of the house. So luckily I've closed the curtains so they can't watch me talk to myself. But really I'm talking to you, right? So the past 2 weeks for myself have been fairly busy with work. A lot of yarn and dyeing and administrative things and emails and communicating with designers and shops and everything that I really, really love doing. Sometimes it gets a little stressful, but it's a good stress, and it is so much better than the stress I used to have with my old profession, which I used to be a high school English teacher, if you're new, and now I, along with my partner, we own Leading Men Fiber Arts, which is a hand-dyed yarn company, and expanding out into other crafty goods, and soon to hopefully be opening up a storefront here in central Illinois. We own a studio on our town square, which is about 3 blocks that way, and we would like to open that up to the public here, hopefully within the next 6 months to a year. We just want to be realistic. I want to say a couple of months, but construction and things always take time. We have set up a consultation with a construction company on Saturday to come out and explain them what we would like done, what we could potentially see happening in the future, getting a rough budget estimate going, and all that jazz. We also have to meet with an electrical company who also did our AC down there, but we need to get some wiring redone. We have to turn on our lights through our breaker box, and the light switches don't actually work in the studio, so the building is over 145 years, 148, I think. 1872. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's a nice little building. We now own it, and now is the time to start saving to renovate it. So, that's all still going on in the background. Last weekend, we got to travel up to Wisconsin, which we did not know had such high COVID cases, which we might have reconsidered. But we stayed with the local yarn store and pretty much kept all of our precautions while on the road, and our hotel was very safe and everything. So we went up to Brookfield, Wisconsin, to Cream City Yarn, which is a lovely little shop that used to be an old schoolhouse. It's a beautiful little store. And Nicole's the owner there, and Kate is the manager, and we got to hang out with those two ladies and set up in their shop. We were only allowing 2 people in the store at a time, so people were very patient, hanging out and knitting in the parking lot while people were shopping and having a knit night out there on Friday evening. So it was a very good time out there. We drove up there Friday, drove back Saturday evening. And other than that, we haven't really traveled anywhere. We've been staying sane and safe. Other than a grocery trip here or there, we're not really going anywhere. We're just hunkering down, trying to be as safe as we can be, and to also, you know, do what we need to do to survive and make money, but also, you know, try to do it in a logical and safe way. So, yeah, that's pretty much been about it. This week, my mom actually had cataract surgery on her right eye. They wanted to schedule her to come in and do her left eye in about 2 weeks, but it is just starting to show signs of the cataract. So she's actually holding off because she's on Medicare and Medicaid or whatever. She's on state help, so she has to pay 20%. And in my mom's current financial state with being disabled, that was not feasible for her right now. So I got to take her to the procedure on Monday morning and knit in the car for about 2 hours. They said it would take 1 hour and 45 minutes, and man, do they have that time down. It was about 1 hour and 45 minutes from the time she walked in the door to the time that they walked her out. As with anything, Mom wasn't too happy after the surgery, and they were like, they told me not to rub my eye, and all I can do is rub it. But she had to go back the next morning for her follow-up, which the place is about 30 minutes away. So she thought she could drive herself, and I was like, I don't think you should be. When she got out of surgery, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna have you drive me again tomorrow. So I drove her to her follow-up, which was a little over an hour, but they gave her some drops and gave her reassurance that everything was looking good. And she stopped by the studio yesterday to be like, I can see so much better. She goes, I still have a slight headache and whatnot, but she goes, oh my gosh, the vision is so much better. So that is good news. Other than that, nothing else really exciting going on. Andy's family is planning another large family vacation for next summer. As long as, you know, things are all good and we're all safe and vaccinations and everything, but it's just going to be a family vacation, and it's going to be low key. 2.5 years ago, we went to Disney World as a large family, about 10 of us, that his mom gave us as a gift for New Year's Eve, as a Christmas gift, a family gift. And so this next summer, she's decided to do that again, but we're going to go. The family has decided to go down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So they've rented a big cabin, and we're all going to pick something we want to do, and we're going to have dinners together in the cabin, and it just looks like a really nice place. So I'm excited. It's not my first choice of places to go, but I don't have a say, so I'm along for the ride. I just said, Andy, do not be upset if I'm not going ziplining and ATVing down a mountain in June in Tennessee. It's going to be hot, and I don't do that kind of stuff. So just as long as his family's well aware of that, but he's pretty much already started to lay down that heights and myself do not agree well, and his stepsister's husband is the same way. So the two of us are going to hang out in the cabin while they go ziplining, and who knows, maybe I'll change my mind, but I doubt it. So that's all that's been going on in my world for the last 2 weeks. I hope things are going well for you. Let's get into the crafting, shall we? What's taking a bow this episode? I do have a finished object. Just one, but I'm happy to show it with you. It's now blocked. We're recording a day late. One, because I wanted to be able to pull prizes for the Race to the Finished Object contest. So I wanted to wait till today. 2, I wanted to finish my object and block it. And 3, yeah, those are the 2 biggest reasons. I'm recording in the afternoon because today's the 1st, and I had a lot of administrative stuff to do with the new colorway of the month at work this morning, so I didn't get to, I needed to work today. So needless to say, here is my Beadkerchief designed by Laura Nelkin, and this uses Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Harvest colorway, as well as Laura's kits of different beads and a beading kit that comes with the tools that you need. So the beads in the main body of the shawl here at the end are pre-strung, which is my first time doing a project with pre-stringing beads. It wasn't as horrible as I thought it would be. It keeps playing with the color. That's when it goes grays out, that's where I'm not. That's kind of truer to color. The pre-strung beads were not that bad, and then you do a beaded bind off where you place the beads with either floss, which she gives you in the kit, but I do prefer a crochet hook. And it's got a really cool spine detail. It's stockinette with the beads. And this is a one skein project. She also has the bead loop, which uses a half skein of the showstopper. And that is a joined cowl, which is how I will probably wear this, to be honest with you. But I have been in contact with Laura, and she's been selling kits on her Etsy store, but we are also going to be getting in a few Beadkerchief and bead loop kits probably next week or the week after in a couple of different colors. So yeah, no, I'm happy with it. That actually does not look too bad. I might keep this on. So, yeah, I'm really happy with this. This was knit on a size 4 US 3.5 millimeter needle. I feel like the beads give it a really nice drape and holds the cowl in place for being such a small shawlette. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. And if you see us in person here in the next couple of months or start of next show season, this will probably be up in the booth. So I think people don't give beading enough credit, nor do it as often as they could or should. I know I don't, and I enjoy it when I do it. So, all right, let's move into what's performing this episode. So, move a few things around. First up for me is my colorful linen stitch blanket by Helena Cat. This is a crocheted blanket using various fingering weight and sport weight scraps held together to get about a DK weight. And I'm using a size H or 8 hook. And here is where we are at. So I do about 1 row a day. That's all I get while I'm home. But it's growing slowly but surely. I am doing a magic knot to join in each row. And as I've said before, it's a single linen stitch, and I hold each color for 2 rows, but I'm alternating a skein every row. So each row I'm changing a skein, but they get 2 passes for each color. So there we go. Enjoying it. And I really love how the marling is working together. Okay, moving on. What's next? The Hugger Bolero. I'm knitting this for my sister. This is being knit. This is designed by Knititude, and it is being knit out of Wool in the Gang Crazy Sexy Wool in the bronzed olive colorway on a size 19 US, which is a 15 millimeter. I cannot work on this for very long because of the weight now of the garment. I'm on my last ball. It only takes 4 balls of the wool. They are 200-gram balls though. And I'm getting close to probably finishing it off. So here's the bottom. Can you see that? I can't tell. Yep. And there's the top. So what you do is you just knit a very long piece with ribbing on either end. And then eventually I will fold it in half and seam it, mattress seam it up about 9 inches, I think. And you leave an armhole, and the armhole goes in, and then it just sits like a cocoon shrug on the person. So my sister's super excited about this, and yeah, I have this much left of the last skein, so I'll probably get another. I counted rows because it tells you how many rows to do. I'll probably get another 4 or 6 rows and then do the 4 rows of ribbing, and then I need to leave myself enough to seam. So that's that, and you can see how big these needles are. But yeah, really enjoying that. I was hoping to have that done, but alas, I will have something finished for you for next episode. All right, moving on. Next up is my Happenings wrap by Laura Tabbitt. We are doing a knit along for this pattern in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. And I am loving mine. I've been showing it on Instagram and in the knit along group. And I am using Leading Men Fiber Arts. I'm using 1 skein of Soliloquy in the Vengeance colorway. For the main color, because you need 150 grams of the main color, and then you need about 100 grams of 5 contrasting colors. So I'm using our Spotlight base for that, and I'm using the colorways Bend and Snap, Can't Quit You, Grapes of Wrath, Look on the Bright Side, and Sandcastle. This is what the wrap will eventually look like, but what's really cool about this wrap is you have 6 different textured patterns as well as 6 different colors. And you do 2 different patterns per repeat, and you do 18 repeats. And you roll die to, which I do on my phone, I have an app, but you roll die to select the next texture and the next color. So that way, no 2 wraps, even if I have several people who have ordered these colors, it's not gonna look exactly like this one because you're kind of forging your own destiny on the shawl, so to speak. So here's how mine is looking. I just finished my section 4 last night. So I've done 8 patterns, well, I'd say different patterns, but like one of them I've done 3 times now, because that's what's been rolled. But I'm so loving this. It just looks like an autumn sunset, doesn't it? So this last section I was striping Bend and Snap and Sandcastle. I like that some of the colors are fading so well you can't see that. But then like down here was Vengeance and Bend and Snap, and you can see the striping there. And then it was Vengeance with Can't Quit You. And the thing is, you're always carrying color A becomes color B in the next section. And you're always carrying one color from one section to the next, which kind of fades them very beautifully together. So I love this. I can see repeatedly knitting these. Yeah. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I wish you would come out with more like with this concept with different texture patterns, because this is all done in reverse ribbing, I guess is what you want to call it. So like you're doing variations on a rib usually, but when you're knitting on the front side, you're also knitting on the back side, and when you're purling on the front side, you're purling on the back side. So it's not giving you stockinette, it's giving you like a garter rib, kinda. It's hard to explain. But I highly recommend that you join our knit along. The knit along is still going on through the end of November. So you have the rest of September. September's over. You have October and November. You can, if you focus, you can work on this for 2 months. I'm not saying I'm going to be done by the end of the knit along, but why not join in on the fun? There's great color combos and conversations happening over in the Leading Men Fiber Arts group on Ravelry for our knit along. And that's being knit on a size 3 and 4 US. Last but not least, I have my Deadest Man and Deadonia socks, which are over there. I forgot to grab them. 1 second, please. Okay. Now, at least I didn't hit the tripod. My old rickety floors probably shook while I got up, but so I'm using some 716 knit 716 sock, which is in her hardcore self-striping colorway called the Deadest Man of Deadonia. And I have it in one of my yarn pouches that we carry in the Leading Men Fiber Art shop. Now this fabric was especially done and gifted to me. This is cork. We don't carry the cork ones, but we have a variety of fabrics, and we're always putting in orders every couple of weeks with Paula at Pete Moss Novelties. She does not sell online, so really the only way you can get them is through us. And they come with 2 snaps. You can fit 100 grams skein of yarn in there, and then it comes with a carabiner, so you can hook it to your bag or your pants, like I've done, and walk around and knit with them. I'm using a Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper mini skein in a Director's Interpretation, which is our name for a one-of-a-kind. This is similar to Copper Cloud, but is slightly different. I'm using that for the cuff, heel, and toe. I'm so excited. These socks are going to be for me. This is being knit on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. And there you go. Isn't it perfect fall October knitting? And this was just, I'm going through my self-striping in order of oldest to newest. Unless I have repeats of the same company, like if I bought several at the same time, I'm skipping and I will go back to the beginning. But look at that speckled stripe. It's beautiful. Jenna does a great job. You can check her out at 716 Knit. Also, if you're in the New York area and around there, she also has a traveling yarn store called Knit Buffalo, because she's out of Buffalo, New York, hence 716, which is the area code there. And she travels around and shows up at events. She's usually at the Zombie Knitpocalypse in Rochester, Minnesota, where I usually get to see her, which is funny because we've vended there together probably 6 years now. And last year, maybe it was last year. Did I go down last year? I think it was actually the year before. I've only been down to her truck once because we're always vending and her truck is outside. So 1 year I was eventually pushed out of the booth and told to go down to her truck. All right, what's in rehearsal? When I finish the Hugger Bolero, I will use a random number generator to pick my next project out of my stash. What that will be, I do not know yet. I have quite a ways on the Happenings wrap, but I also have some new samples that I need to work on. 2 new cowls, and we just got a new sample in, but the pattern isn't being released for another 12 days. So I'll show you that new pattern and new sample next episode. All right, behind the scenes, my spinning, I am still working on Honey Gold Acres Merino in the Onamia colorway. I am on the last of my braid of fiber. I have finished the first 2 ounces. I'm doing a 2-ply fractal. It's got greens and browns and teals and golds, but all you can see is this really dark midnight blue black on the outside here. But yeah, so I'm spinning that. I will be excited to show you some finished yarn. So I'm trying to get this on my Lazy Kate, and it's not. There we go. Some finished hand spun next episode. All right, I realized after I hit the end record button last episode that I never showed you my cross stitch. So in the scene shop, which is my other crafts, right now I'm solely focused on cross stitching. I am working on a Heaven and Earth design called One for Sorrow, artwork by Stephanie Pune Law, and it will eventually look like this. It is a full coverage cross stitch, and I am working on page 4. I am about in this section, the top portion over here. I am doing this 2/1 half stitch on 25 count easy count fabric. And that's where I'm at. So this is page 4, this width. each one of these little squares you're seeing is a 10 by 10, so there's 100 stitches in each one of these squares. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. It's going. I put in 2 strands of floss a day. Take about 15 minutes. I do about 15 minutes of spinning, 15 minutes of cross stitching, 1 row on my crochet blanket. I knit on a swatch, and then I get to knit for me. So that's why there's not as much, knitting progress, because I do have a bunch of other things that I do every night before I hit up the knitting, which usually, takes about an hour to 2 hours. So, all right, let's move right along into In the Spotlight. What am I watching and reading? I'm close to finishing an audiobook, but I'm not done yet. So let's talk watching. Andy and I finished watching Perry Mason, which is the first season of hopefully to be a recurring series through HBO. We do subscribe to HBO and we watch through Amazon. This, I guess, was a series, a Gumshoe Detective / lawyer series that was on in the 70s and 80s, Andy told me. It's set in the 1930s to 40s. This season is set in 1932, if I'm correct, in California. I can't remember if it's like San Diego, San Francisco area. I can't remember off the top of my head. But the show revolves around a private investigator named Perry Mason, who is turned into a lawyer throughout the season. And this particular season, the series starts about a baby being abducted for ransom, and the parents paying money for the ransom child, and there's an exchange, leave money, we'll leave your child kind of thing. So never direct exchange. But it turns out that the child is dead. So it is kind of going through this case of who did it, who was involved, what really happened. And it was really good. I did not want to watch it. It wasn't something on my list, but Andy did. And I'm really glad that I stuck with it. There's also kind of a religious zealot society kind of background at the time going on, and there is an actress, I'm watching her other show that she's known for, Orphan Black, right now, which is really good, but she plays the sister kind of spokesperson of the church, the mouthpiece, and she's really good in this. But I highly recommend it. My sister really wants to watch it, but she doesn't get HBO. So I was like, well, when you dog sit, you can watch it here. So she's like, yes, I can. Last night, we finished Glow Up Season 1. It was our dinner watching for the past couple of weeks. This is a makeup artist challenge put out via Netflix. Season 2 is out. And it is set in England. And all the contestants, I believe, are British. It's interesting. There were some things that really got me. There were some things that I didn't understand what the judges were thinking. And Andy and I had differing opinions from the judges. But there are set different routines where they have a challenge. And then that challenge leads into 2 people being put in the bottom. And they know going into the main event that they're in the bottom. So either they have a penalty or something like that. And then there's like a main photograph event or challenge that they have each episode. And then the bottom 2, if the people who are in the bottom 2 can try to get out of the bottom 2 with their main event. But then there are always 2 for the episode, and they have to face off on a challenge, and that decides who goes home. So it was really interesting, the range of makeup that they had to do, from prosthetics to drag makeup to high-end fashion to general beauty to just so many different things. But it was interesting. I enjoyed it. We'll definitely watch season 2 here sometime in the future. All right, last but not least, I did watch a movie by myself called We Summon the Darkness. This was, I believe, on Netflix. I believe it was on Netflix. The movie is set in the 1980s. Yeah, I believe, late 80s. And basically it's about this group of girls going to a rock concert, a death metal concert. And as they're going to the concert, they are hearing things on the radio, seeing newspapers at the gas station and whatnot about these satanic slayings that are happening. It's set in Indiana, and they go to this concert and they meet a group of 3 guys. They decide to go back to one of the girls' dad's place to hang out, and then things quickly take a turn. So it's kind of a different take on things. It's not amazing. Johnny Knoxville is in it for a quick second. Yeah, I'd say if you want some, not think about it too much, you know, kind of horror suspense, then I would say check out We Summon the Darkness. All right, let's talk stash enhancement because, well, hi, my name is Steve and I'm addicted to yarn. So I have some stash enhancement. First up, I have joined a monthly self-striping yarn club. I'm not sure how long I'll stick with it, but they are a supporter of Leading Men Fiber Art, so I wanted to support them for a little bit, and I love their striping abilities and whatnot. I have a skein already from them, and I haven't knit it yet, but I joined their club, and I'm really happy with this month's. We'll see, they usually have a pretty warm palette, which is a little more feminine if you want to go down that road. Not necessarily always my color scheme, so we'll see after a couple of months whether I feel like I have quite a bit of stash now built up in terms of women in my life or whether I keep going. But I joined the Freckled Whimsy Color of the Month Club. And Freckled Whimsy is also out of Illinois, but Northern Illinois. We're in Central Illinois, so she's just a couple hours north. And I opted in to get a full skein plus a mini skein. She does offer an 80-gram skein plus mini, but due to yarn restrictions due to COVID, when I signed up for this, she only has a certain number of new spots every month. That was not available, so I got the full skein and mini, which is fine because I always have scrap, you know, a scrap blanket going. So this color is called October, is my favorite color. And it's on our Serendipity base, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 460 yards, plus a 20-gram skein mini. And this mini is on a sparkle base. It looks like a Lurex base. And here it is. So it's got fun pops of magenta, like a salmon, a periwinkle, a navy, like an aubergine. There's even like a chartreuse in there. Gosh, there's so many different colors. So I'm excited for that one. So this is my Freckled Whimsy first installment. Then, while I was at Cream City Yarn, I always walk around all weekend and put together different projects and ideas in my mind. And they had a couple samples of Cheryl Faust's shawls, which she is known for mosaic knitting. And I started following her on Instagram a couple of months ago. And it turns out that she is local to the Cream City Yarn Shop. So they sell a lot of her patterns and kits. And they had a kit for one of her patterns, but I didn't care for the yarn they kitted it in, which was the original. It was a little more toothy than I wanted to use. And then they pointed out a different pattern, which is her most well-known shawl, called Destination Unknown. And I guess it got a lot of accolades through Mason Dixon Knitting last year. And here's what it looks like. I did purchase the pattern through the shop. And so it calls for 3 skeins of Brooklyn Tweed Puri in the main color and 2 skeins of Spin Cycle dyed in the wool sport weight for the contrasting color. And while this is beautiful, she does a lot in neutrals, and I feel like the contrasting color could work so much better with a bright pop. So both of these are not inexpensive yarns, and I did spend a little bit more than I probably should have. I saw that they had dyed in the wool sport weight. They also had the DK or worsted weight, and I was like, I told the girls, they're like, yeah, we sell so much. I'm like, it's so expensive. I know it's dyed in the wool. They dye it, they mill it in-house, they do all the work, but it's still 50-gram skeins are usually run 30 some odd dollars. It's not the cheapest, but they do really nice work. So I convinced myself that I needed to try it. So I picked Brooklyn Tweed Puri in the Morel colorway, which is a nice neutral taupe for my main color. And then I picked up 2 skeins of Stay Out of the Forest from Spin Cycle, which I really think is just going to pop off of that taupe and really look cool. I'm not usually in oranges and browns, but it's calling my name. And so I'm going to knit the Destination Unknown out of this. And it's already kitted up in my Cream City yarn bag with the pattern and the yarn. So that is my stash enhancement for the last 2 weeks. And I'm being good, so I shouldn't have anything for next episode. Shouldn't. All right. What am I giving away this episode? We have quite a few new things come in recently via the prize pool by a generous benefactor of the podcast. We have some more things coming in here soon from another local benefactor who wants to donate to the podcast. So I have some kits or other things that, are specific tastes. So I want to give them away where people can enter rather than just giving them for a knit along so that people can decide whether they want to enter. This episode, I am giving away a kit for the Diana vest through Mountain Colors. Now, you don't have to necessarily knit this vest with this yarn, but it does come with the pattern. This is old school pattern in the booklet along with a real photograph glued to the front of the pattern. The kit comes with a skein of their mohair, a skein of their something. This must be 4/8 wool, and 2 skeins of Moguls, which is a thick, thin yarn, slub yarn. And I think you hold them all together, so, because you knit it on a 10.5 and an 8. So 4 skeins of yarn plus the vest pattern is up for grabs this episode. There's already a giveaway thread in the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group. You must be a member of the Ravelry group in order to be eligible to win, and you must enter the prompt or answer the prompt for this particular giveaway. The prompt is, what's the most recent thing you've done for the first time? So for me, that would be probably beading pre-strung beads, knitting with pre-strung beads, but it does not have to be crafting related at all. So what is the most recent thing you've done for the first time? And again, you must be a member of the Dramatic Knits Ravelry podcast group. And only 1 post per person, please. I will use a random number generator to pick a winner for this before I record next episode. All right, moving right along into a round of applause. Last episode, we were giving away a skein of Round Table Yarns England base, which is an 80% superwash blueface Leicester, 20% bamboo fingering weight, 438 yards, in the colorway Rightwise King of All England. This is a discontinued base through Round Table Yarns. They're still dyeing and doing beautiful work. Karen does an amazing job. And the prompt for last episode was, what invention doesn't get a lot of love but has greatly improved the world? So, random number generator selected number 9, who is Raberchides, and that is Jessica from California. So congratulations, Jessica, you have won this skein. Jessica, if you would please private message me on Ravelry, Dramatic Knits, with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address. I will get this out in the mail to you as soon as possible. And Jessica said, in terms of what invention doesn't get a lot of love, but was greatly improved the world, Jessica said, I would say the pull tab for soda cans, soup cans, and pet food cans. How else would we open a soda can? The soup and pet food cans, it is time to grab the can opener. It makes life a little easier in the morning when feeding my cats breakfast if the simple pull tab can works. If I open a soup can or anything else with a pull tab, one of my pet cats always comes running thinking that I'm feeding them again. So I agree for the most part. Now, I do have a bad experience when I was in high school and I owned a cat briefly, and my sister owned a different cat briefly. My mom did not get along with cats, and both were rehomed after a short amount of time. But when I went to open a can of cat food, I don't know if you'll even be able to tell with I can't focus, but you see that V on my finger? That is a scar. That's the only time I've had to have stitches, believe it or not, from a can of cat food. Opening with a pull tab, I opened it in the wrong direction, and so yeah. And my sister still remembers that day because we went to the local hospital, which there was like nobody in the waiting room, and one of the nurses was watching my sister, and my mom took me back, and they said, okay, this is going to hurt a bit. We have to put the shot in the wound to numb it. And that was probably one of the worst pains I've ever felt. And they were like, it's okay to cry. And so I didn't cry. I screamed bloody murder. And yeah, I was like probably 13 or 14. My sister was 3 or 4, and she still remembers. She's like, I just remember I thought you had died back there. And so there's your little side Steve story of the day. All right, we have also pulled a winner for our September 2020 Race to the Finished Object contest. Last month, we did not have a featured designer, but that has been rectified. So we only drew one prize, and the prize goes to number 52, who is D. Dorf 4. That's Dory from New Jersey, who is a lovely human being. So congratulations, Dory. Dory knit a watch cap number 50 for charity this year. So she's already done, I think, past 50, which is amazing. Her favorite color is purple, so she is getting 2 skeins of Knit Pick Stroll fingering in the Duchess Heather colorway. So congratulations, Dory. Sorry, brain freeze. Congratulations, Dory. Would you please direct message me on Ravelry? First and last name, mailing address, and email address, and I will get this out in the mail to you. And thank you to everyone for sharing what you knit in the month of September. Anything that you finish in the month of October can be entered into the October 2020 Race to the Finished Object contest. We will have a physical prize as well as a pattern prize from our new featured designer, who is Jennifer Lassonde of the Downseller Studio audio podcast and of the Boston Jen fame. So I have had the pleasure of meeting Jennifer the past 2 years at Rhinebeck and her mom, and she's a lovely human being, and she reached out and graciously offered to be our featured designer. So she will be gifting a pattern of the viewer's choice for each month for the months of October, November, and December. She's going to be wrapping us up for 2020. And so we are also going to be, starting today, starting a Jennifer Lassonde knit-along in the Dramatic Knits video podcast group on Ravelry. You can knit any and as many as you want of Jennifer's patterns and post them into the one thread. You can chatter in there as well. I will just use a random number generator till I pull a winner. We will pull a winner for October and November, and then a grand prize at the end of the year. The earlier you finish your project, the more months you get entered. So if you finish it this month, you will be eligible to win a prize in October, in November, and December with the same project, if that makes sense. So again, the knit-along runs from October 1st to December 31st. Jennifer has graciously offered a 30% off of all of her patterns until October 31st using the coupon code DRAMATIC lowercase. That'll be in our show notes if in case you didn't get that. But again, 30% off all of her patterns using the word dramatic until the end of October. And you can use that as many times as you would like this month to stock up on patterns so that you can have a queue of things to knit for our knit along. And Jennifer will also be giving away a pattern of the viewer's choice to the knit along as well. So it'll be a physical prize as well as a pattern prize for the winner. All right, let's move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. First up, let's talk about October's colorway of the month, which just premiered today. I'm sorry, I'm like, what did I do with it? I have all this stuff around me. And the colorway of the month, I showed it to you balled up last episode, but it is called Smell My Feet. I wanted a grungy, kind of not pretty, but still somewhat pretty colorway that is loosely Halloween based, but also represents, well, just 2020. So Smell My Feet, here is the swatch in what it looks like. It is a massage speckled colorway that uses neon green, purple, and orange, overwashed in a spooky gray and black. So, but it doesn't scream Halloween. I can easily see somebody knitting a sweater out of this. When it was in the skein, Andy and I were both like, well, somebody will love it. But knit up, we were like, it's much prettier knit up. So Smell My Feet is available for pre-order on all of our yarn bases as well as sock sets. The sock sets this month, you have a choice between 3 different heel-toe cuff options. You can choose Safety Dance, which is the neon orange, Glow Stick, which is the neon green, or People Eater, which is the neon purple as your contrast. And again, we have Classic, which is a full skein, 100 gram skein, or Shorty sock sets, which is a 50 gram main color, and then you get a 20 gram mini with both of those. We also do have pre-orders up for our project bags. We have the knitted swatch fabric, which looks like this, and then it has the pearl side on the inside. And then we also have a Beauty Shot project bag up for pre-orders that comes with a undyed cream color lining. Speaking of 2020 and I want you to stay tuned for this Saturday for a newsletter from Leading Men Fiber Arts or Instagram, Facebook, and all those things. We have a new collab kit coming out on Saturday to reminisce 2020. So we're excited to be working with Kino Knits, Mary over at Kino Knits for this collaboration. And there's a bunch of other dyers offering other availabilities, but yeah, stay tuned for that. So I can't give anything away yet, but all right, before I go on, let me take a quick sip. All right, what is new in the shop this past 2 weeks? I showed you last time our boyfriend totes in canvas and leather, and we had it in the green, like the army green and brown. We sold out of those. I've reordered, and this time I also got the black canvas with brown leather. These are the biggest bang for your buck. They come with 2 handles as well as a messenger bag strap, adjustable. And this one doesn't have the plaid lining, it's green, but it comes with 2 pockets on one side and a zippered pocket on the other side. And these are $95. So genuine leather from the Kiko Brothers in Los Angeles, and canvas and genuine leather. I also got a high-end genuine leather bag that I thought might be nice to carry projects around in. This is the Cebu Tote in blue. This is genuine rawhide leather, very flexible. It has a button and leather closure, which you can see here, which obviously it's going to hold its shape better when it has stuff in it to kind of hold it open. But I really love this blue colorway. So you can see the button and leather closure there. And this is raw leather on the inside, but it does come with a pocket, so you can put your notions, you can put your cell phone, your iPad, things of that nature in there. And this one is a little more high-end. This one is $150 for this one. But it still does have a flat bottom. So, you know, if you have rigid enough stuff in there, it will sit on the ground. So that's the Cebu Tote. Also from Kiko Leather, I brought in just 3 of these to try out. These are the Notions trays. They are a really nice size. They're as big as my head. These have a leather bottom, so really good for, you can put your electronics in here, like your phone, your sunglasses and stuff, which the pictures show. But I got this to put like scissors, stitch markers, cable needle, crochet hook, whatever you need to put in here. And it's a nice size to fit that. It is a gray wool felt all around. It will not scratch your surfaces on the bottom, and it is a snap button side to raise it up. But if you want to travel with it, it's flat and you can pack it right in your bag to go like that. So I thought these would be really cool. I think people need to see these. We haven't sold any yet. These retail for $30. So you can get these available on the Leading Men Fiber Arts shop now. These would be great if you're doing the stitch marker of the club, stitch marker of the month with your cast of characters mini skein club, or if you're purchasing stitch markers from us. I would say it's probably a little bit big for beads. They'd roll around a lot more than you probably need, but so I really like this. This is the Notions tray. What else? A new pom-pom design. We have, these are so much better when you style them with a hairdryer, which we don't own. So this is the unicorn. Unicorn doesn't taste good. The unicorn lashes pom-pom. So this is bright blue, purple, and magenta, and they're fill my mouth. Ugh. There is a fun sparkling like tinsel in there as well. These measure 4.3 inches and they are $5, right? $5 pom-poms. We have a bunch at the $5 and $7 level. We still have a bunch of extra large hand-sewn pom-poms that you can also check out in the shop. And last but not least, this was kitted up right before I left for the day. This is a new colorway called Sweet Cheeks. My sister named this. It is a salmon gradient. And the actual Sweet Cheeks color is going to be this one right here. The 4th one. That will be the Sweet Cheeks semi-solid color. But this is done as a gradient. We try out new dyes as a gradient and then pick if we like 1, 2, 3. Some of them we picked 3 colors from in the range. I couldn't decide between these 2. But I think this one is most needed in our lineup of semi-solids that we don't carry. So that's what's been new in the shop. Those 2 new bags from Kiko, as well as the Notions tray. You can check out our pom-poms. We do have some new seed beads in the black shades. I finished updating those, so all the black shades are now there. Once I need to reorder one of them, I will order another color set. And yeah, as well as yarn, new kits. I added a bunch of new colored kit options to most of the kits, so there's different color options in our kits right now. And yeah, just stay tuned. If you are not on our newsletter, I highly recommend being on our newsletter. I send out at least once a week. Sometimes if there's special things, like I just sent out this Colorway of the Month newsletter today, but I will also be sending out one on Saturday for the collab kit. So no more than ever twice a week, but usually it's only once a week for the newsletter, and that just keeps you up to date. I kind of try to keep it short and sweet in the newsletter, except for the beginning of the month, because I show you the new colorway, I show you where we're going to be for the month in terms of in-person events, as well as new patterns and knit-alongs that have come out in the past month. So don't forget, you can always sign up for our Cast of Characters mini skein yarn club. It's never too late. You can just sign up and you will roll right in with the current month that we are working on. And as long as you sign up by the 17th of the month, you will be invoiced for that month. However, if you sign up for the Catrico stitch markers, I have to put those in prior. So if I don't have them on hand, that may adjust your first month. But you can sign up to get the stitch markers of the month via Catrinkles. This month's set is super adorable for Halloween. There's even a glow-in-the-dark ghost. Check out my Instagram stories for today if you're interested, but I'm getting those up in the shop tomorrow, all the extras that I ordered for the shop. If you have checked out via the website and you've not signed up for our loyalty program, it's super easy. When you go to our website, you can sign up for the loyalty program just by entering your phone number at checkout, and that will give you 1 point for every dollar earned, and you essentially will be able to redeem those points for 10% back on future purchases. We have 3 knit-alongs going on right now in the Ravelry group. The first one just started today, and that is going for the months of October, November, and December. And that is a brand new pattern that was just released a few days ago called the Incendio Cowell. And this is designed by Lori Ragnar and was published in Notions magazine. It uses 1 skein of Leading Men Fiber Arch Dramaturg DK weight. It was designed in the Spiced Apple Cider colorway. I just put some up in the shop today. There's a couple of skeins. But you need 1 skein to knit the cowl, and it is a really cool motif. And if you go to the knit along thread in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group, there's a coupon there to get 15% off yarn for the pattern, for the knit along. And we will also have new prizes besides the grand prize, which is a $25 gift certificate to the shop. There will be prizes from Notions. They are getting back to me on that, as well as 3 people will win a Lori Wagner pattern. So I meant to pull up a picture of that, but you can check out our Instagram, or if you get the newsletter, or Facebook. There's pictures everywhere for that. We still have our Irresistible Poncho knit-along going on. That goes until the end of October, and we have 1 person joining in on that, so they are most likely going to win all the prizes if they're the only one that enters. So, and last but not least, we have the Happenings wrap, which was one of my works in progress. That knit-along is going through the end of November. So, and all of our knit-alongs, if you go to the appropriate thread, there are coupon codes there for Leading Men Fiber Arts, as well as most of them have coupon codes for the designer as well. All right, last but not least, upcoming shows. We are scheduled to actually have a show, an actual fiber event next weekend in Ann Arbor, Michigan. That would be the Fall Fiber Expo. They sent out an email a couple weeks ago, so they are planning to move forward with it unless something else changes. I checked their website and Facebook today. It still says that they are doing it, so we are still signed on for that. They are going to require masks. They are going to be socially distancing the aisles, as far as I know. as well as limiting the number of people that are allowed into the barns. So whether that's at 25 or 50% capacity, I can't remember what they said the regulations were, but that is being held at the Washtenaw County Fairgrounds. There is an admission price, I believe, or are they foregoing that this year? I couldn't remember. The website still says there's an admission price. The hours are Saturday, October 10th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, October 11th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you can make it out, we would gladly love to see you and come check us out in person. As you know, it's always better to shop and see colors in person. And if you feel safe in doing so, we're always protected. They're doing all the precautions that they can do. But if you don't feel safe, we completely understand that. You can always find all of our products online. You are not missing out on anything with our new website that we've had for the past year. Everything is available online at all times. And as always, if you don't see what you are looking for online, remember, online is always ready to ship unless it states that it is a pre-order. So if you don't see what you're looking for, you can always place a custom order by filling out the form located on the top of our website to let us know what you want, and we will just invoice you and dye it up just for you. So I think that's pretty much it. We're running about 5:30. We're ordering Casey's Pizza for dinner, taking it easy tonight. So I got to get that order in so that we can eat at a relatively decent time. And then Andy and I are going to watch some Masked Singer. That's back. We watched the first episode. Real good. Can't wait to see last night's episode, which was the next group of singers. I'm so glad they did not stick 3 weeks on each 6 contestants because that got real boring real quick last season. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing 2 weeks. I hope you are going to local pumpkin patches and apple orchards. Oh, we did that as well. We really didn't get much. Our local one didn't have many pumpkins or produce to really decorate with. We got a few small little pumpkins and white pumpkins to put in a little wooden tray at the studio, but nothing to put on our porch. We did drive 45 minutes to a bigger apple orchard that is more well known. They were really good about their masks, whereas in my town, we're one of 10% that wear masks in my town. Again, we don't socialize with people in our town very often. So we stayed socially distanced. We did a corn maze at the local one here in our town, but there was only one other family that wore masks. Nobody else was wearing masks here, but small town, central Illinois. We did get a what we believe flag up in our studio window, which is not what the majority of this town probably believes. And I was proud to hang it up. And I was a little worried that we would come back to our windows being smashed in, but that hasn't happened, so that's good. We have a lot of young right-wing enthusiasts that like to populate the town square on the evenings after the businesses close. Sometimes not even while the businesses are open. And there's usually a lot of different activities going on, including, dealings through open car windows and things like that. I'm making it sound so much worse than it is, but again, small town. They're 2 doors down from the police station, and when the police stop by, they just talk to them and don't do anything because everyone knows everyone here in this town. But I was happy that we put our views out on the studio window and made that clear to anyone who did not think that about us. So anyway, I will see you in 2 weeks. And until then, I hope you make something dramatic.